Today's video is all about this vintage lens, and that is Olympus OM Systems Zuiko Auto S 50mm f1.8 made in Japan. That's from reading the front there. So this is a lens, I think it's probably this version from the mid 80s. I think it started in the mid 70s or early 70s, right up to the early 2000s. This one though is from, I'm guessing, late 70s, mid 80s. The reason why I'm guessing that is because this was actually given to me by my father, and it came along with a vintage camera. And one second, I'll just get that now. And it came with this camera here, an old Olympus film camera, and it's an OM30, so kind of an everyday standard film camera. And I had fun shooting on this as a child. And this is one of the lenses that came with it. Sorry, doing the old YouTube thing. So here it is. But now with mirrorless cameras, you can adapt vintage lenses by using an adapter such as this one here. It's just a cheap one. So this will go on the front of this, and this will now adapt to a Sony camera. So I took this out, I used it for video, but I also used it for photography. I'll show some examples quickly. So I just took it out around London and some local places around here, and this is what I think of it. So when I got this lens, it had the beginnings of fungus growing in it. So what I did, I left it out in a shed near the window and just left it there almost for a year. It's still got little bits in it, or a little bit of dust or something in it. It's much better than it was. So my first impressions taken out. For a vintage lens, and I've got a few vintage lenses, it is actually very, very sharp. Surprisingly so, actually. I'm quite impressed how sharp it is. So that's nice. I took it out, got some nice sharp video and photography as well. It's great. It's got a kind of, I know it's overused lately, but it has got a kind of 3D pop to it, which is quite nice as well. And one thing I was pleasantly surprised about, and I didn't realise, is it's a little bit swirly as well. You get that kind of swirly bokeh that you get with some vintage lenses. It's not quite on Helios levels, but it's up there. So you get a really nice kind of swirly bokeh with it, which I really enjoyed. As you'll see on some of these images, you get this kind of really cool, dreamy look that's also very sharp. It's, well, you can see on the images, but I like it a lot. I think it's really nice. Very different from modern lenses in that respect. It does flare, as you can see here, but again, if you're using a lens like this for, say, video, you kind of want flares, or even photography as well. You're going to go for that look anyway. So for me, the main reason for using this lens was it just looks a bit different from modern lenses, and it looks a little bit different from the vintage lenses I've got as well. Price here in the UK, it's about £35 to £50. I've noticed it is creeping up a little bit in price, but that's about the average price of it, which is a really good deal for something. You get a nice image like this. Okay, it's manual focus, but once you learn how to use manual focus anyway, it can be a joy. In fact, more often than not, the more I use cameras, the more I use lenses. Unless it's a situation where I really need to take a quick photo or video, I prefer to set it up manually anyway. Manual focus, let's get that on shot. The front element does move up and down a little bit, as you can see there, and it's got a nice turn. That's how far it turns, so you can get quite a precise shot with it. And the closest minimum focus distance is 45 centimeters, so that's not too bad either. Adds more joy to it, to be honest. It's a cool nifty 50 that you can use in lots of situations. You can adapt it to a mirrorless camera, and you can take it out and use it, and it's a very fun lens to use. I like it a lot, actually. I was quite impressed by this. Something I will be using a lot more. I was a little bit worried about the fungus thing, but I'll leave it by a window now anyway, just in case. And I know that can affect the grease or the oil that's on them to actually haze the lens slightly. This one hasn't. It's actually very clear, which is nice. Just a quick video of taking out this vintage lens. I want to do some more about vintage lenses, because in a day when cameras can cost a lot of money, lenses can cost loads of money as well. It's nice to be able to get something that's not too bad, that's not going to break the bank, the average person could save up quite quickly for, and you can go out and have fun shooting with it. And it is good fun. If you see one of these at a good price, I do recommend picking it up. It's a fun lens. I know I say that a lot, but this really is a fun lens. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope to see you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye bye.